Hello, today I would like to show you how I make chokers on Roblox. So as you can see here, I have a reference that is a spiked choker and a 3.0 bundle here. So what I'm going to do first is hide the head so I can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, let's begin. So what I'm going to do first is select the middle, shift S to cursor to selected, and that's just going to make it so the origin is right at the middle of the neck. And that is pretty important because now I'm going to add a circle and it's going to be automatically around that area. And then I'm going to adjust the circle so it has a little bit less vertices, and I'm going to scale it down to the neck so it's not massive. So what I do next is I extrude by pressing E on my keyboard, and I move it down. If you want, you can adjust the scaling of the choker a little bit. So what I'm going to do is make it a little bit thinner and a little bit lower down the neck. You don't have to do this, only if you want to. Next thing, I'm going to add a modifier, which is called solidify. And what it does, it just makes your mesh not paper thin. So I'm going to add a little bit of depth into it, and I am going to mark the edges sharp, scale it down a little bit to the amount that I like it. After you're done adjusting the choker, what you're going to want to do is apply the modifier so it is set in stone. So I'm going to do that right now. Applied. Because I'm done with the band that is the choker around the neck, what I'm going to do now is create the spikes that go around the choker. You're going to want to repeat the very first step of making the band and create a circle. And I'm going to scale it down, obviously, and I am going to click the axis on the upper right, and that makes it so it's an oriental view. Very important, very nice. So edit mode, I'm just going to keep extruding and creating the shape of the spikes in the first place. So you can see I'm scaling, extruding, etc. You can just follow suit of what I'm doing. While I'm doing this, I am going to make the long spike part. So you can see I extruded it pretty long, and what I am going to do is scale it down to 0. So what I'm going to do now is select everything and shade it smooth. Another thing that is relatively important to do is select the edges and mark it sharp with Ctrl E. The next thing is I am going to adjust the position of the spike to the center front of the choker. So I am going to select that, cursor to selected, and I am going to move this from selected to cursor. I highly recommend taking a little bit of time to adjust the scaling and the position to make it look as accurate as possible. Some people tend to rush and it just ends up not looking great. So what I'm doing here is I am just adjusting the spike to be a little bit bigger and closer to the center of the band. And now it looks relatively decent. Next step is very important. So what I'm going to do is be in edit mode, and you will see this icon here that is the spin tool. Make sure your origin is right in the center, and you will want to spin it around 360 degrees. And if you don't have it exactly 360, make it 360 degrees. And adjust the amount of spikes you want, and make sure you toggle the duplicate option here. After making duplicates around the choker, make sure you delete the duplicate part at the very center because it will make an extra copy. Final thing that I'm going to do before finalizing the model, I am going to adjust the choker one more time. I'm just going to scale it a little bit, move it around, rotate it. Basically just very tiny tweaks. Now that the mesh is done, now I'm going to proceed to the texturing stage. Only showing a very quick walkthrough for this, however, I'm using Substance Painter for creating the texture. It is very expensive, however, if you are very serious about modeling and texturing UGC, I do recommend purchasing the software. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like on Roblox Studio. The end result should look something like this. As you can see, it goes around the neck pretty much perfectly. And that is pretty much it. It's basically just a plain choker that's spiked. In the description, I'm going to link the item below if you want to buy it. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.